Have you ever looked at your receipt and just thought, how did that happen? Or opened a bag of chips and it's basically all air? You're not imagining things. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how inflation and its sneaky cousin, shrinkflation, are completely rewriting the rules of spending in 2026, and more importantly, what you can do about it.
So let's just get right to it with the question that's probably on your mind a lot these days. As the cost of, well, everything seems to be going up, are you actually getting what you're paying for? It's a totally fair question, and honestly, the answer is a little complicated.
You see, to really get what's happening, you need to know the two villains in this story. Inflation is the one everyone knows, right? Prices go up, so your dollar just doesn't stretch as far. But then there's shrinkflation. That's the one where your favorite brand of ice cream quietly makes the carton a little bit smaller, but hey, the price is the same. Both of these are working together to take a bite out of your budget.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the small stuff, the little everyday purchases. They might not feel like a huge deal in the moment, but trust me, these are the little leaks that can seriously drain your finances over time.
I mean, remember when getting food delivered felt like magic? It was this amazing convenience. Well, now it's often a straight-up money pit. And that convenience, whether it's from an app or just the drive-thru, is costing you way more than you probably realize.
Here's a little experiment you can do literally right now. Just pull up your favorite food delivery app, find a restaurant, and then open that same restaurant's menu on their own website. You are almost guaranteed to see every single item marked up. And that's before they even start adding the fees.
And this is where it gets crazy. When you add up the delivery fee, the service fee, the tip, all of it, that very same burrito can end up costing you almost $29 if you don't have some expensive subscription pass. We're talking more than double what it costs to just walk in the door.
And then you've got the wellness industry. Oh my gosh. It's a $7 trillion giant that is basically built on selling you quick fixes and profiting from insecurity. It pushes things like $25 health smoothies because we all want that instant solution. But you know what? The things that actually make you feel well, like a good night's sleep or just going for a walk, they don't cost a thing.
All right, so we've covered the daily leaks. Now let's zoom out and look at the big ticket items. You know, the allure of something being brand new is incredibly powerful, but it very often comes with a massive, hidden, long-term cost.
And when we talk about big money sinks, two things really jump out: financing a brand new car and getting caught in that cycle of upgrading your phone every single year. We're drawn to them, sure. They signal status, you get that thrill of something new, but the financial reality, it tells a very, very different story.
So get this, in 2026, the average monthly payment for a new car has hit $750. Just let that number sink in for a second. On a typical auto loan, that means you could end up paying over $11,000 in interest alone for an asset that's losing value the second you drive it off the lot.
Now, this slide is where it gets really mind-blowing. Let's talk about opportunity cost. If you took that same $750 a month and instead invested it, say in a simple index fund over 30 years, it could grow to more than $1.1 million. That is the true cost of that new car smell.
And what about the dream of a starter home? Well, it's bumping up against some harsh new math. In today's market, in every single major U.S. city, it is actually cheaper to rent than it is to buy. Homeowners are paying around 37% more each month than renters are. So these big visible costs are one thing, but what about the ones hiding in plain sight? Okay, for our final part, let's pull back the curtain on the most deceptive traps out there. These are the ones that use complicated fine print and a bit of psychology to just quietly siphon away your wealth over the long haul.
So let's talk about actively managed funds and extended warranties. They sound great, right? They sell you on the idea of expert help and peace of mind. But the truth is, they're often structured to profit the seller, not really to protect you.
And it almost always comes down to the fees. An actively managed fund, where you're paying a person to pick stocks for you, might charge about a 1% fee. A passive index fund, which just mirrors the market, can charge as little as 0.03%. It looks like a tiny, insignificant difference, but it's not.
And here is the proof. Over a 30-year period, that seemingly tiny 1% fee could end up costing you over $1.2 million in returns. That is a life-changing amount of money that's just gone, eaten up by fees.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about spending that is driven entirely by perception.
From designer clothes to concert tickets, the price we're willing to pay is often more about social pressure than about the actual value of the thing itself.
And speaking of concerts, my goodness, have you tried to buy a ticket to anything lately? It's just a masterclass in fee stacking. You see a ticket listed for $200, but by the time you actually check out, there's a service fee, a processing fee, a facility fee, sometimes even a digital delivery fee. That $200 ticket suddenly becomes a $275 purchase.
So, here's a powerful little question to ask yourself before you make any kind of status purchase. Just ask, if absolutely no one else could ever see this, would I still want it? Your gut answer to that question tells you everything you need to know about why you're really buying it.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's all about adopting a new framework for how you spend your money. It's 3 simple steps. First, just question the default. Is this really necessary? Second, calculate the true full cost, including all those fees and the opportunity cost. And third, you need to define what you actually value, not what marketers and influencers are telling you to value.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought. A question for you. Now that you've seen how the game has changed, what's the first money trap from this list that you're going to consciously step around? Because deciding to avoid just one is the first real step to building a much wealthier, more intentional future.